All right. I wanted to start off with this article because this ran across my timeline, and I thought that this was pretty hilarious and ridiculous. As I have said multiple times, not only on this stream but on the podcast, I say that every 2 to 4 years there is always something with the government, whether it be a government official or the president uses government officials to have something to say circled around or centered around video games. Video games are getting blamed for literally everything nowadays. So here's another one. Here's another one. So the article reads, a young man. So, majority of the people that follow me are young men. So this goes out to y'all. Young men are playing video games all day, because I know that seems to always be the thing. When men play video games or boys play video games, it's that we go hardcore. We're just playing it all day. We're being lazy. We're just not doing anything productive with our lives. Because that's every man who plays video games. It's just what happens. So we're playing video games all day instead of getting jobs, going out there and getting jobs. Working until you die, because because they can mooch off of free healthcare. First of all, there is so many blasphemous things just in this title alone. So many blasphemous things just in the title alone. Okay, men are playing video games all day instead of getting jobs. Where is that happening? Like, is this an epidemic? Like, are we seeing like in huge numbers? Like, we need to do a census or something. Are there like huge numbers of like men who are just playing video games all day instead of working? Because last time I checked, we had inflation going on. Last time I checked, we got to see what these tariffs are going to do. Last time I checked, there's a chance that we're going to go into a recession. I don't think anybody can afford to just play video games all day. Let alone afford the games themselves. So who's playing video games all day and just literally doing nothing? I would love to know like what that number is. What is that percentage in America? That's a great question that I would love to know. Isandos. I think we all know at least one person, Seki. And what up though? I think we know I think we all know at least one person, but one person does not equal the majority. But I would love to know if it's like an influx of men who were just playing video games all day. So that's the first Bible statement. But free healthcare, free healthcare. Where? What up, Dion? Oh my God! All right, so let's read this article. So, um, this is yet another excuse that the government has been they're just trying everything at this point. So this is yet another excuse that the government is trying in order to justify cutting Medicaid. So now you're going to blame young men. Now we're going to blame young men who are not doing anything with their lives and playing video games all day as to why you want to cut Medicaid. So if you want to be mad at somebody, anybody who uses Medicaid, you're an older individual and you get your Medicaid cut, then apparently you can blame young men who are just playing video games all day and they are finessing the system. So House Speaker Mike Johnson is the person who said this, and he says that the healthcare program leads to able-bodied young men playing video games instead of working. So this article continues, talks about, what Medicaid is, the U.S. health insurance program for people with low incomes. It's funded by states and the federal government, and like most government programs, they help people in some way. It's one of Trump's administration's targets for cuts. Why? Video games, of course. More specifically, part of the plan is to implement work requirements for Medicaid eligibility. This is gonna piss a lot of people off because it's not just people who play video games, but there are some very, very lazy people. I will admit that. Definitely some very, very lazy people who exist in this world. So this is interesting that they're trying to implement work requirements. It kind of is in the same realm as like if you're getting unemployment, a lot of times the requirement is, if you've ever been in that situation. I haven't, but if you've ever been in that situation, they do typically require you to at least apply to like a certain amount of jobs like per week. Otherwise, you'll technically lose your unemployment. So, they try to put, criteria on it just to make sure that you're actively trying to get another job. So it's interesting that they're trying to also implement this to get insurance, to get Medicaid insurance. Man, yeah, because you'll love me. Yeah, exactly. Young men love going to the doctor. If only they knew what these young men, what their diets typically consist of. Um, so they said that this is currently only a feature of the program in Georgia. Okay, so anybody who lives in Georgia, you let me know if this is already implemented for y'all. Apparently it is. And to justify adding this administration hurdle for patients to states, Republicans are claiming that access to taxpayer-funded healthcare is causing young men to waste all their time playing video games instead of working. I want y'all to read that sentence again, and I will say this again. Republicans are claiming, and this is the other way, that this is a cause and effect, right? They're saying that because you can get access to taxpayer-funded healthcare, it's causing young men to waste all of their time playing video games instead of working. Initially, if you are just hearing this article and seeing the title, you think, oh, it's the other way around. Young men are just playing video games all day and being lazy, so they don't have to work and because they know that they're going to get free healthcare. But it's the other way around. They're saying that because you can get it, because you can get a Medicaid for not working, or having no money or low income, that is causing young men to play video games and spend all their time playing video games. Like, what? What are you talking about? Again, these people are so delusional. It's not just Republicans, it's government officials, period. A lot of them are white, a lot of them are old, and a lot of them are men. And they are just so clueless as to how the world works and what people actually do on their day-to-day. They just try that. I swear they're just throwing darts. And I keep telling y'all, and I said it before already, video games somehow always just become the target every 2 to 4 years. It just one Republican representative wakes up one day and was like, hey, I'm gonna blame video games for this. I'm like, what are you talking about, bro? Did you have to say video games? You could have said something else. Why can't it be, there's a question, why can't it be people watching movies all day? Why can't it be people doom scrolling on TikTok all day? Why can't it be people listening to music all day? Why does it have to be video games? Why can't it be people going outside and, I don't know, riding a bike or skateboarding or something? Why does it have to be video games? It's always the target. I mean, people do have other hobbies. So why are video games always targeted? This is what I'm always wondering. People do different things. People binge watch shows on TV. There are other things that people do. People smoke all the time. They do drugs. Like, it's other things that people get high, people drink, get intoxicated. I don't understand how video games is just always like the worst thing that you can do or the most bummish thing that you can do. I totally don't understand. It's like, get these old mofos out of here. It's another dumb thing is that game is not cheap. It's not a cheap hobby. It's not a cheap hobby. So to continue on with this, this dummy, Mike Johnson has said no one has talked about cutting one benefit in Medicaid to anyone who's duly owed. What we talked about is returning work requirements. So, for example, you don't have able-bodied young men on a program that's designed for single mothers and the elderly and disabled. So they're saying that the young men they're finessing the system. They're saying Medicaid isn't for y'all, young man. Medicaid isn't for y'all. It's for single mothers, it's for the elderly, and it's for the disabled, okay? Young men, stay away. Shout out to Mr. Taco Shot. And they said that young men are draining the resources from these people. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Young men in the chat, young men watching this video, you are the ones who are draining these resources. You are finessing the system so you can get health care. Really? Really? So you can get health care. Okay, man. Again, delusional. Freaking delusional. And does not know anybody in the room. Does not know anybody in the room. Like, what are you talking about? He continues. So if you clean that up and shore it up, you save a lot of money and you return the dignity to work to young men who need to be out working instead of playing those damn video games all day. What is this guy talking about? What are you talking about?
Oh, God.
What is he talking about, bro?
Bitch, you ain't no nerd. I could have sworn you were.
The devil is a motherfucking liar. So you know I ain't worried. Biatch.
I would love to speak to this Mike Johnson and be like, bro, do you really know what you're talking about? You're blaming young men who are finessing the system, who you claim are finessing the system and draining the resources from the people who actually need healthcare, and they're just playing video games all day and they're not going back to work. Newsflash, and I'm a part of it because I've been looking. You can't even get a damn job nowadays. You can't even get a job nowadays after this whole situation with COVID, bringing all these jobs into every single corporation that you could think of, and then everybody getting laid off left and right. Oh, they're being picky now. You can't even get a job. Even if you're overqualified for it, they'll still pass on you. Things are different. Things have changed. You can't even get a job. So again, Mike Johnson, I think you need to stop worrying about video games and young men apparently playing video games all day. And you need to worry about what these corporations are doing. What are these jobs doing? Because they're not hiring anybody right now. So what is your criteria? People actually do want to work, believe it or not, but they can't get a job. You're looking for the most perfect person nowadays, because you're trying to quote unquote right your wrongs, because apparently you overhired and a lot of these people were just not doing anything. So now you're trying to save money and you put out these job applications and people apply. You have hundreds of people applying to the same job and you don't choose anybody. So what the hell? Like, this stuff is real. This isn't a myth like what you're talking about, Mr. Mike Johnson, and young men playing video games and taking Medicare away from everybody. People can't actually get a damn job. Oh boy. All right. Let's continue here. So the picture Johnson paints of Medicare enrollees stealing from mothers and disabled people so that they can sit around playing Call of Duty may be an effective emotional appeal. The call to return dignity to American men is a nice touch, but it makes little sense on his face. It actually makes no sense, I would argue. It makes none at all. It makes no sense. Man, in February, let's go over some stats here. They have some stats. In February, healthcare researcher KFF reported that the majority of people who use Medicaid to work, 64% of Medicaid recipients under the age of 65 work full or part-time. Does that sound like the majority? 64% is the majority, and that is the majority of people who work and have Medicaid. How about that? How about that? But apparently young men are just en masse, just not working and playing video games all day. And they're draining the resources. But 64% of people who have Medicaid are actually working. It's just that they still have a low income, okay? It's just that they have a low income. What up, fake Hawaiian? According to the organization's analysis, and most of them who are not working have an illness or a disability, which is perfectly understandable. So that, again, means that you're not able-bodied. If you have an illness or a disability, that means that you're not able-bodied. You're not an able-bodied young man, okay? And it says they are caregivers or are in school. Again, you can't argue with stats, people. You can't argue with numbers, but apparently 64% is too low for this Mr. Mike Johnson. Okay, it's just too low. It sounds like you're trying to recruit people to go into the army or something. The way you talking, you know, you able-bodied young man. Stop playing them damn video games and get yourself into the military. So to continue here, and if being able to see a doctor while unemployed makes people lazy, I'm not sure why U.S. politicians spend so much time fretting over China's growing economy, because its universal healthcare program covers over 95% of its population. And bring over China, man. Like, again, it seems like every other country compared to us, you know, had way better healthcare options. Had way better healthcare options than us. So, again, to be talking about our situation over here just makes no sense. Oh boy. So yeah, so that's that, man. That's that. But I found this article just funny and utterly ridiculous at the same time, because it's like, here we go again. Do I have that? What I joined that? Where is it at? Where is that one?
Oh shit. Here we go again.
Every time, bro. Every time we blame video games again. I don't know why video games on these old people's minds. Again, they just think that people are just wasting away just playing video games, which is, again, it isn't the case. For a lot of people, again, video games is an escape. It's an escape from the harsh reality of the world. People just want to relax. People like to get lost in a video game, and they're not, you know, on the contrary, you know, we see those outliers, but people are not just in mass spending hours upon hours playing these video games all day. And the ones that are, they found a way to monetize for it. So technically they are working, you know, technically they are working, like the people on Twitch, the people on social media. So technically they are working, they're getting paid for it. So I don't know, but yeah, I don't think it's going to go anywhere. I think this person is just yapping like I am. but they're yapping some nonsense. You know, the difference between a yapper and a yapper who just yaps some nonsense. And you, Mr. Mike Johnson, are yapping utter nonsense. Don't mention video games again, bro. I'm going to have to pull up on you. Pull up on you, bro. You don't stop talking about me and my damn video game, son. All right, they never blame bench. Yeah, again, they never do. What up, Sip? A whole lot of nothing, right? They never do. And I find that weird, man. I find that weird. Music never gets targeted. Music only really got targeted in the 90s, and that was rap. But music doesn't get targeted. Movies, for damn sure, don't get targeted. Why do other forms of entertainment not get targeted, but video games always get targeted? Always get targeted, bro. It's crazy. Crazy.